Hello, good afternoon, everybody. And today I'm just going to share a very short video on Chess960. So as the name Chess960 sounded, there are 960 different combinations of positions on the chessboard. So obviously, the starting position is very, very different. And obviously, some of you were asking me like, how differently do you play Chess960 compared to, let's say, normal standard chess? Well, to me, my explanation would be like this. I think first and foremost, the starting position is very different. This is what we call position 683. How do you see it? Well, you can see where I circle. This is position 683. And in this position 683, or rather, wait, I'll just leave this there. And in this position 683, notice that, the white king is on c1 and c8 respectively. And then of course the white and black queens are on a1 and a8 respectively. Now, what does that mean? It means it gives you different complications. For example, the usual way of playing standard chess, whereby you actually play with the idea of controlling the center, may not necessarily work. If I were to go straight for, let's say, e4 or d4, it may not necessarily have the same effect. Why? Because the knights are, having a pawn there, then the knights there, you may be blocking one another. And then, of course, the idea that, how soon can you get the queen out? That's also another challenge. And last but not least, when do you castle your king? So actually, what is really unique about Chess960 is that it takes away all chess theory. You don't really need to, concern so much about playing a certain Italian opening, or let's say, English opening or King's Gambit or whatever, but you have to think logically. Where is your king located? What is the best way to bring your pieces out? So here I'm going to show you two games today. First game here, I was white. So notice that the first move I played knight c3. See? Why? Because my logic is that I wanted to maybe move my knight out soon, free up space for me to be able to castle my king. And then the rest of the time, I'll figure out how I want to bring up my queen, maybe through playing a4 and queen a3. So that's a fairly original way of playing. So c6 was what my opponent picked, a4, a5, and then queen a3. Ta-da, And obviously what's beautiful is that you have all these kind of sneaky moves where the queen on a3 attacks, a very undefended pawn on e7. And that's really unique because in the standard chess, no pawns on the board are undefended. Whether the a2 pawn, b2 pawn, c2 pawn, d2 pawn, e2 pawn, f2 pawn, g2 pawn, h2 pawn, all are defended. But uniquely in some Chess960 positions, one of the pawns on the board can be undefended, and this is one good example. So my opponent had to play this, and I played d4. And here my idea of d4 is to be able to probably develop my bishop, castle my king, and then of course to be able to develop the rest of my knight. Or maybe I might even develop this knight here. Sorry, I probably won't go there. So it would be something like, bishop here, castles the king, and knight here probably, and then pawn goes up and the bishop goes out, and then maybe pawn goes up here, something like that. So what my opponent did, wow, g6, very good move, because automatically already targeting my weak pawn, undefended again, very rare. I castle my king, knight d6, continue pressure, e3, knight d7, and seemed like my opponent found a very good way to develop. He opened up space for the queen. He decided to actually push the knight out first. And actually, that's something I learned in Chess960. Try and develop your knight first before bishop. Castling of king may be possible, you delay. So if I were to compare my game against my opponent here, who is far higher rated than me, I think he did a far better job. And after I have to play f4, f5, and then bishop h4, again, I'm taking aim at his weak pawn, forcing an exchange. h3 to prevent any kind of knight g4, h5, g3. And actually by now, if you notice, the game is almost by now is almost similar to what you would get in your standard chess. So naturally, there's really not too much of a difference, to be frank. It just means that, Chess960 at the beginning, it starts a bit more uniquely. You just have to be aware which pieces to bring out first. How do you keep your king safe? Which part of the board do you like to control? And then prepare to develop the rest of your pieces. And then I think you will reach an ending or late middle game ending that's fairly the same as what you would do in standard chess. All right. Now let me show you a second game. Second game I played was against another opponent, and here the starting position is again different. Notice that the white queens and kings are on c1 and d1 respectively. This is called position 622. So if you can see, there is actually a position number here where I drew an arrow. That's position 622. And here what is unique is that you have got queen and king rather uniquely placed. The rooks are here and the bishops are kind of odd here, and of course the knight is on the corner. So what do we do? Well, first move, my opponent played g3. I decided to follow suit and play g6, bishop g2, and here I changed. I played f5. My logic is I wanted to bring my bishops out first. Again, conceptually, I think maybe it's better to bring knights out first because knights are more clumsy. They require greater coordination to take it out. But at least, I guess, maybe I could have probably put my bishop on g7 before I move my knight, something like that. So here I move my knight out. And of course, I kept my, if you can keep positions close in the center, that I think is ideal for Chess960 because you need to figure out a plan how to deal with the rest of the pieces. So having close center is actually a good thing in my opinion. H3, bishop f7, and notice that, there you go. This is how you castle your king. See, what you do, you just take this, put it on top of the rook, and then it will automatically castle on its own, right? And of course, then you've got d5. Again, I kept everything close. My logic is because my knight and queens are a little slower compared to white's pieces. So better keep things a little close for now. Bishop e8. I try to activate my bishop. Again, a reality about Chess960, sometimes the pieces are in a slightly worse position. So you need to find a way to activate it. And there you go. Knight d7. Okay, there. And of course, you notice that even white castle on the queen side as well. And finally, I decided maybe I'll try and push b5 here and see what happens. My opponent started attacking. And I tried to attack too. And of course, yeah, there you go. So again, you can see that finally my bishop has found a breath of fresh air. And of course, then I decided to grab some pawns. Very, very risky pursuit, but I decided to actually give it a shot. And of course, I try to attack, counter-attack on the queen side too. But here again, the position is fairly similar to how you would get out of a standard chess game. So basically, that's it. This very, very short snippet to introduce you to what Chess960 looks like. My suggestion to you is that, try and play some Chess960 on Lee Chess next couple of days in preparation for this coming Sunday's tournament. Thank you very much and have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.